So, a little backstory on this upright, and a lot of people have been questioning me, why do I even bought this upright? Well, I have a sentimental value attached to one of these things, not exactly this model, but the one that's marketed as the Big Cup. It's a Whirlwind Big Cup. It's basically the same model, except this one is limited. Plus, the Big Cup has a different sticker. The dust cup and everything is the same. It has a different lettering setup. For an example, on the Big Cup, it says here 12 amps, and it has a dot in the middle, and then it says True HEPA right there. This one does not say True HEPA. This one on this side, the letters all change. The HUD changes. The color of the font, the color of the letters also changed. For an example, on these ones, they are gray, but in the Big Cup, they're yellow. And the color is the same. It's the same see-through red, which everyone loves. My parents bought one at Big Lots, brand new out of the box, for, I think they had a special sale. They had a sale of these things over at the Big Lots when I looked at a yellow one of these, and the color popped. It's basically a sunflower yellow. It's like a really bright ass yellow. So in a store well illuminated, is impossible as a kid to not attract attention to that color. And basically a lot of people were actually buying them in the translucent blue, which it's like a same color of this, the same see-through material. Let me turn on the flash so you can see the color a bit better. You can see how the headlight wrapping and the headlight cardboard is right there. And over here you can see that we have more of that see-through color. As you can see everything inside of the machine except the motor. You're not able to see the motor because the motor is a sealed motor. Basically, it has a black plastic cover up top of it that goes sealed along with the rest of the thing. That's how these things are marketed, as sealed. Now let me just turn back off the flash. This one is the limited because it came marketed with the first class 3 premium washable filter, True HEPA filter. And I have a filter that is not the original replacement filter, but I have the filter right here. And as you can see, this is a clean stream washable HEPA filter. This thing did not came originally with this filter, but it was replaced at some point. And as you can see, it's not the cleanest, but it's not the dirtiest filter I've ever seen. It's a bit dusty, but it's also a bit clean. Looks kind of whitey right there. This thing arrived to me like this, in this condition. And it is the cleanest Whirlwind Limited Plus you will ever find anywhere in the world. Now, what's so special about it? Well, my mom had one when I was a small kid and I was just getting into upright vacuum cleaners. We had one of these things. Let me just move it around and shift it in place. Now, there you can see a bit more of that translucent red color. Which, as you can see there, you can see some lettering. This is your power button, and this is your nozzle release. We got the cord wrapped around it. The hose is also marketed as be see-through, but is not exactly marketed see-through. It's not exactly see-through. We have here the extension wands. We got both extension wands with it. Let me just pull the other one out. It's hard to do with one hand, so let me just put the phone down. Here we go. We got two of the extension wands. This thing came up when it was new. Okay, those are the stock attachments. And we have right here a crevice tool, a handy dandy crevice tool that has seen some use. A lot of use, actually. I see a lot of fine dust in there. And here we have the HEPA filter, where the HEPA filter sits, and you can actually see as to how this thing is sealed. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys might be wondering, that is dust. No, that is not dust at all. No, this is just the way it is. This right there is the exhaust for the motor right here. This thing is the exhaust of the motor. This is what gets out of the motor. And as you can see, it's not the cleanest piece of the upright vacuum cleaner, but it's not bad for being how old this thing is. And this thing was built in 2000s. It was purchased in Austin Vacuum Cleaner. I bought this thing on a trip to Austin, Texas. I went to San Antonio, to visit family. And I saw this thing pop up in Marketplace and Facebook Marketplace. And you guys are going to probably be wondering, what is that? That's a repair. The only thing that I see that is broken on this upright, and you guys are going to probably procrastinate me about that. The only thing that's broken on this upright is this. This is broken. This is broken. This is broken, so you can pull this hose out of here real easily when you're not supposed to pull that thing out of there by any chance. So I managed to kind of try to glue the thing in place. I put silicone there to kind of seal the system in, so that way we don't have dust escaping out here. And the way this HEPA filter goes is you push those little tabs right there. There is one on each side. You pull the tabs right there, and then you just kind of like push the HEPA filter in place. And the way you do this is real. It's a real bummer because you have to like hit it with your hand. And it is kind of hard to do it with one hand, so I want to use my little knee right here and my hand. And there you go. As you can see, you heard that click, and then you just kind of like push up on the tab to secure the filter in place. And there you go, your HEPA exhaust filter is in place. I'm telling you that this thing is one of the cleanest uprights you will ever find out there. Why? Because these things are known for not being all that great in regards of pre-motor filtration. Why? Because they spew dust everywhere into the motor. Now, this thing, to my surprise, and this is how the way you take the dust cup out is you pull right here. You pull out on it, and then you kind of like pull onto the dust cup assembly. Let me just try to do this thing like this. You pull out the dust cup like that, and then this thing goes out. That's not the pre-motor filter that's supposed to go in this thing, but as we can see, it's clean inside of here. It's freaking like, it's the cleanest upright I've ever seen. For the fact that it is now 24 years old, this HEPA this filter, pre-motor filter, whatever the hell it is pretty clean. Now, I know you guys are going to see the seal right there, and you're going to start panicking. But you can see that the shroud and this plastic is freaking clean, meaning that this thing does not blow dust everywhere. Like, this thing is not as marketed as it should be. This thing is not spewing dust everywhere. So we're going to put the filter right back in there. Now, in regards of your dust cup, it's interesting to take a peek into dust cup and see how the cyclone is. How the cyclone is built. So how you take off, how you dump the dust cup is you grab this little handle and you pull this out. And this is your cyclone assembly. As a lot of people know, this is your cyclone assembly. Dust comes in through here, makes its way around there, and there is where it gets out. I kind of see a little bit of dust already in it, but hey, this is your filter. Let me just put the dust cup aside. Now, this thing, I have not been using it all that much because I haven't had the chance to use it all that much. But this weekend I plan on uploading a video of it and how it performs. Now, this is your dust cup filter. So the way you do this is you twist the filter out. Anyways, background story. Back to the story. Sorry, I get sidetracked really quick. Sidetrack on the story of how I fall in love with these things. There was a sale. There was a Eureka sale at Big Lots, and they were like giving away these things for next to nothing. They were selling these things left and right, and everybody was purchasing one. Everyone had one in their cart, so I look at the one, the sunflower yellow color upright, and I get back to my parents, to my dad's, to my mom and dad, and I said, "What is that?" So dad says, "Oh, that's one thing that we need. That is a upright vacuum cleaner." So my dad used it to work installing carpets in the United States. He was doing big residential carpets, and he's the one who got me interested into vacuum cleaners, because he was a DIY guy just like I am. I know how to replace belts. I know how to replace filters, how to do maintenance to these things. And he got me into these things, right? So I am like, "What is that thing?" And he says, "That's an upright vacuum cleaner." And I said, "Do we need one?" And he says, "Yes. How much is that one?" And then I go and ask, and they said they are for sale at like $130 a piece. And they were just basic machines. Like, these were budget machines. As you can see, there is the sticker of it. Model 4684. I remember that the one we had, it was a 4685, which it was back when I was just starting to rate these things out. So the fact that I have one of these machines right here sitting in with me, it's like my holy grail. I had been looking for upright like these for like the longest time ever. And these things are weird because these are the combinations between a Eureka bagged, a The Boss, a EnviroVac, a SmartVac, except with a bagless chamber attached to them. And the way this thing looks, it's just like weird. The way this thing looks, it's not weird, but it is actually clean and it is in great condition. The motor sounds good and everything. So we decided to bought it. We took it home that day for $129. I think that was just like my whole dad paycheck for the whole week, and then we had to like, spare out a few bucks of food. I was also working with my dad in weekends because on the weekdays I usually go to school, so I wasn't able to work unless he had a afternoon shift, which sometimes he was contracted to vacuum up big warehouses. And he teach me how to work on these things. And this is why nowadays I have my few own small collections. Like, we have that Panasonic right there. We have a Whirlwind right there. Another Whirlwind that's like a newer Whirlwind. That's a 2-stage cyclonic filtration. This was a single cyclone. So we started using the Whirlwind, and the filters were starting to get clogged on it on day-to-day uses. These are not the greatest machines in regards of keeping fine dust inside of the dust cup. So one day my mom was vacuuming as usual the whole living room, and I heard a bang, and I heard the vacuum cleaner slowly starting to die. What if these died with my mom and me at the house? I remember that day I had no school. I had a day off of school. So I stayed home and my mom was vacuuming and I was in the room playing around, and I heard like a huge bang, and all of a sudden the whole house was filled with smoke. I don't know why it died. I do not remember. I think that I don't know. I don't know why did it die. I don't It doesn't make any sense as to why it could have died. In this case, it could have just like overheated, but it had the whole house full of smoke and the fire detector alarm was going off. So that was the end of the Whirlwind Big Cup. We went ahead and dumped it, and we bought a Bissell Power Force bagged. I think it was I don't remember exactly the model number. And then I started working on these things after that incident. I started working on these things, and I said that if one day I had the chance to buy one of these, I was not going to let it go. Story short, I went to a trip to San Antonio, Texas to visit family because I have a lot of family who live there. And I saw this thing pop up in Marketplace over in Pflugerville, Texas. Pflugerville, yes, Pflugerville. This thing was like this. I haven't cleaned it. All that I did is I just give the exhaust filter a rinse, and that was it. Well, not a rinse. I cleaned it up with soap. I put a little bit of Persil detergent, laundry detergent on it, and I let it soak in warm water. That way I could get the dust out of it. The headlight on it still works. The only thing that I have apart and I don't have currently installed in the machine, you guys are going to probably procrastinate me for doing this. Allow me to just lay down the vacuum cleaner gently. Is that I don't have the brush roller in it. Why do I don't have the brush roller in it? The brush roller the belt took a dump on me. I don't know why, probably because it was pretty old, but you can see the see-through plastic and how the light reflects through it. The wheel design on this thing is like really weird, and you can see how smooth the wheels are. Like you can see that this thing was just well taken care of. So yeah, this is how I got into working with uprights. This was the start of like a whole journey. Like, yes, this was the start. After that, I started working on uprights myself. I remember I was a little 5-year-old kid working on vacuum cleaners using using my hands, and I think one day the Bissell Power Force actually burnt my hand down because the motor was hot. My mom just finished out running it, and it was hot, and it needed a belt replacement because the belt was starting to slip, and I just decided that like it was a great idea to touch the shaft, the motor shaft. As you can see, a lot of vacuum cleaners have like a little motor shaft right there, which on the Whirlwind you can actually look through it. There is the little shaft where the belt actually sticks to. And this is what started the whole vacuum cleaner collection thingy. However, this thing is in great shape. It sounds like a brand new not like a brand new upright. It's been used, but it's not been abused. It's been used, but it has not been abused. So this thing is like in the greatest condition you will be ever able to find one of these things. I don't know what was Eureka intentionally doing. For what I've heard, these were limited to dealership sales exclusively. These were not sold in like commercial stores like Big Lots, Target, CRs, Walmart. These things were just like dealerships. You were just able to get them in dealerships. This thing was bought in 2001, and the warranty from that dealership where they bought this thing expired over in, as you can see, on June 9 of 2002. So these things were just 1 year in warranty, which is what basically killed these things, because people, And let's be real. Bagless technology was pretty new in the market, and people were just like believing that they were able to save the costs of buying replacement bags. And yeah, that was a great concept and it looked great on paper, but was it really good? No, it wasn't good at all. People were actually just running these things until they quit it, or until the motor started sucking up all the dust that was packed in the pleated filter, which this is a later model because it has a pleated filter. This is a later model because it has a HEPA pleated filter, which back in the day, these things were coming with like a foam filter inside of the dust cup instead of like a pleated filter, which it was not good for fine dust. I mean, like these things were noticeable for blowing dust out of the exhaust of the vacuum. But this thing does not do that. Now, I haven't had the chance to take it apart and take a peek into the motor. So far, one thing I've noticed is that the shaft on this thing, on the upright, the belt shaft is pretty rusty, and it is full of black stains, which means that it was probably burning through belts a lot, and now I have noticed why this thing was burning through belts. And it is the fact that the brush roller quit it. The brush roller locked up, the bearings locked up, but the brush roller is not broken. It was starting to quit. It was just basically putting such a strain to the motor that when I first ran this thing on the guy who was selling it, I bought it for $20, which it was a great gamble. And it was a great price for one of these things. Now, the brush roller is unique itself. Let me just go grab the brush roller real quick, because these things were known for having yellow bristle brush rollers, but not white bristle brush rollers. Let me just go get it real quick. Here we have the brush roller, and as a lot of you people might know, this thing is in really decent shape. Like, it's really well taken care of. This is how it goes in the upright. Like this. And it is in good condition. The paint is not totally faded off of it. It's not all that dusty on the bristles right there. It's been used, but it's not been abused. Now, the bristles are pretty, like, aggressive bristles. This thing must groom the carpet perfectly. Now, here in my house, I don't have carpet at the time, but I will be getting carpet really soon, so we can test this thing against that thing right there. Now, that is a Panasonic MCV7395, 12 amps, dirt sensor. This one does not have a dirt sensor. Now, you guys are going to probably be questioning me as to why did I bought it? Well, because I'm a sucker for these things. It's a sentimental value that I could not save the one that we bought when I was a small kid. Well, let's see what we can do about this one. Let's see how we can improve it. Let's see how we can fix what Eureka did not even bother on fixing it when it was taken back to the shops. Now, you guys are going to probably be looking at this sticker. This sticker is from where the vacuum cleaner was bought, which you can see it says, "We service what we sell and more. To order bags and belts." There you got different addresses with phone numbers right around there. The phone numbers are right around, and then you have a toll-free phone number from Austin Vacuum Cleaner. I have searched on Google Earth and Maps for those addresses, and none of them are vacuum shops. They are buildings that are on lease or for rent or lease. And they are buildings who have converted into restaurants, into many other things, but they are not vacuum shops. So all the vacuum shops that sold these things when it was new are now out of business. So I have a piece of those vacuum shops, of that exact vacuum shop. So I have a piece of Austin Vacuum shop, which is great to see. And if you guys would like to see more videos about this upright, just let me know in the comments section below. Please like and subscribe, because I plan on uploading a lot of videos, and I plan on ordering more machines as soon as I found machines that I'm interested on. I have a couple things that I've ordered for this thing that I think it will improve the looks. One of it is an LED headlight, because believe me or not, this thing still has its original LED. I mean, it's original halogen headlight bulb, and I think that an LED bulb is going to just make this thing blow up. Not blow up, but look even cooler than what it looks right now, because the way that, and the fact that this thing looks, a lot of you guys are going to probably be questioning, how's the cord? The cord is in excellent shape now. The plug, it's in great shape. It's polarized. And the cord doesn't have any like tear anywhere or any tear. The cord is been well taken care of. It has a couple spots where the little black cover has been chipped off. Probably somebody like ran it up underneath something, or I don't know. Probably somebody was looking on scrapping it, and then somebody rescued this poor thing. And I wouldn't scrap this thing, because this is a piece of Eureka history. Now Eureka has been sold out, and now they are not even called Eureka. Now it's called Innova. Yes, they sold out to Medea, and Medea started throwing every Eureka concept out the window. So this is not only a piece of Eureka's greatest years, it is also a piece of history from Austin Vacuum Cleaners. So if somebody knows any information on those shops, Austin Vacuum Cleaners, if somebody is watching this who is from Austin, Texas, please let me know in the comment section what is the story on that shop, and I will be more than interested on hearing what your opinions on an upright like this. I plan on rebuilding the brush roller bearings. I have a little I bought a freaking can of grease. I bought a can of grease, a plastic can of grease, which I plan on rebuilding the brush roller for this thing. As we can see, I already have the end caps off of it, and I plan on rebuilding this thing. If you guys want to hear more videos on this thing and more history on how these things are, let me know in the comments section. I will be uploading more details about this vacuum cleaner, and I hope you liked the video. Subscribe for more about this Eureka Whirlwind Limited Plus. So please be sure to subscribe if you guys want to see more videos on it. And I'm just going to give you a little bit of, I'm going to read out everything that says the sticker on it, which a lot of people ask about. What's the Class 3 premium washable filter? Well, this was way before somebody had created or invented a washable HEPA filter. So this was the first upright vacuum cleaner from any brand, even like, well, I think the Dyson already had washable HEPA filters, but we're not talking about high-end uprights. We're talking about we're talking about the competence of these things, which it's the versus of this upright, which was probably Hoover, Dirt Devil, Bissell. It was probably Phantom, even Phantom. I think that this thing was way back when Phantom was blowing up with their bagless machines. But except Phantom, you didn't have to replace the filters. In this thing, you did. Well, in this exact model, you did not have to replace the filters. You were able to just wash them off. This is what actually sold people in this bagless limited plus model. The Class 3 premium washable filter The patented seal system. No other upright provides better air purity. See filter on back. Save up to $40 a year in replacement filters. And then it has a big cup bagless cyclonic signs, meaning that this thing, I don't know if it was built off of a big cup, but they were a lot of models and they were basically pretty much the same. You had the Whirlwind Plus, you had the Whirlwind Big Cup, you had the Whirlwind, the traditional Whirlwind, which it was not a 15-inch white cleaning path. It was more like a 14-inch. You also had this exact Whirlwind model, but with micron filtration instead of true HEPA. You had these things in like this color. You had them in a plain red. You had them in plain white and plain yellow. You had them in plain blue and translucent blue. You had them in black, forest green, which it was it. If I found that one of these in forest green, which it was a limited color, obviously, for the limited edition Whirlwinds, then they decided to like bring out, that was like the very first edition of the Whirlwind bagless upright. However, this thing is great, to be honest with you. This thing is great, and it's one of my most prized possessions. I do not plan on selling it, so do not even bother on making an offer. This thing sounds great, and it's a great upright, to be honest with you. It's a piece of Eureka's history, and it is also a piece of Austin Vacuums. I know at this point the video might sound like a promotional video for Austin Vacuum Cleaners, which it's not. They're out of business already, so don't even bother on searching the addresses. I tried that, and they are all out of business. So this is a piece of Eureka's history, and a piece of history from the vacuum shop it was bought off in 2001. The fact that it made it 24 years, and it's still here, and it still works, and it still sounds great, and it still performs like a brand new vacuum cleaner. Well, it will not perform without a brush roller, but I plan on putting a brush roller. Not a brand new, but I do plan on rebuilding this brush roller and installing it back together and ordering a belt. That's going to be until this week paycheck hits. I'm going to order the belts and the 2 LED headlight bulbs, because on that thing I do not have a headlight bulb, and on this thing I do have a headlight bulb. Surprisingly enough, the Panasonic and the Eureka take the exact same headlight bulbs, so I decided to order 2 of these LED headlight bulbs I found on eBay, and we're going to install them. And we're going to run both machines. So please be sure to subscribe, hit the like button if you enjoyed the video on this upright, and see you next time. Have a great day, everybody.